What is up, everybody? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video, and today, guys, I brought you Coldbrew on the channel, right? We're talking about Clan Boss for the last 1 week, so why not to give you guys the top 10 best epic champions in Raid Shadow Legends as damage dealer, the best 10 epics as damage dealer. So we have quite a few epics that can smack that Clan Boss, quite a few epics that they bring utility, so we're gonna focus on the best 10 damage dealers. Coldbrew Gaming, what's up, brother? Nice to have you on the channel.
Hey man, thanks. Yeah, definitely. This week has been feeling like a clan boss only. We've been doing so much clan boss that it feels perfect to talk about some of the best epics. Because yeah, sometimes people just don't realize they have one epic in their vault or just all of their champions that can actually help them get a little bit more damage out of their team. They only look at the legendaries. They don't realize, okay, this epic, even though it doesn't have what you think it has, it actually is one of the best ones for damage, and I think people will like this list.
Absolutely, absolutely. So let's jump straight into it, guys. We might be missing here and there, but let us know in the comments down below. And how I mentioned, we're not really talking about support champions. We're not talking about counterattack champions or champions that buff and stuff like that. Mainly, we are focusing on damage dealers. So remember that when you're gonna type your comment that I haven't included one of the champions in. But do let us know if we missed anyone, absolutely. So we're gonna start with the first champion, Coldbrew. You wanna head over and start. Which one you think is one of the best epic damage dealer in the game for Clan Boss?
I think I would start out with Eothar. He's like one of the OG ones in terms of damage. We haven't played the game for 3 years now, and immediately when I get him either in a free-to-play account or I see him in like a takeover, I know that I could do a lot of damage with that champion. He's got that A2 skill, 4 poisons at a very short cooldown of 3 turns. It's just insane of the damage potential he can do, not just through the poisons, but his A1, his A3 hit quite hard. So a very worthy damage dealer to include in your Clan Boss team for sure. And do not ignore Eothar. I would say.
Absolutely. Plus, we have the attack aura for all battles from him. I gotta say, I'm one of those guilty guys. I used Eothar in my Clan Boss team for a very long time. Back in the day, when we used to have the unkillable teams, the very first unkillable teams, before they even became popular, I used to have a Dracomorph, and I needed another damage dealer next to my Man-Eaters, and that was Eothar. I didn't have so many crazy champions. We didn't have in the game so many crazy champions, but he was actually doing tons of damage with the poisons, pretty good hits with the A1 and A2. And I remember him before he got buffed. Do you remember that? When he used to be trash, like back in the day, the OG days, when he wasn't that amazing.
Remind me, I think his A2 was a little bit different.
Yeah, I think he was only landing 2 poisons and he had a 4th and cooldown, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that.
Yeah, that's probably what I remember too. But yeah, he's so good. He was actually even buffed when they changed the way that the AI worked for many champions. He used to do his A3 on the Clan Boss, and it would just lower his damage overall on average. But then they stopped him, and basically now he just does A1 and A2 only on Clan Boss. And then now we have the custom AI, so you can do whatever you want it, really. But yeah, very consistent damage dealer, definitely worth it.
Yeah, if you don't have any of the big dogs and you're like early on progressing through the game, mid-game, and you're still not getting any of the crazy champions that deal tons of damage, definitely consider Eothar if you have him available, because he is one of the top 10 best epic damage dealers for Clan Boss. I'm gonna talk about Phoenix, man. Like, Phoenix, I'm still not sure how you're saying his name. Now, I had this champion.
Phoenix, yeah.
Yeah, I got this champion ages ago. Like, he was in my very first few epics that I got on my account. I ignored him for a very long time. When I got to my missions for Arbiter, I had to do a Spirit Champion. He was the one, right? I took him to 60. Right. And I still kept him on the side for a very long time. I haven't used him. But then one day, I said, let me just try to see his damage. The A1 absolutely smacks. I took him in Clan Boss and I was like, wow, you know? And in dungeons, if you take him into the Ice Golem, for example, he can destroy with the A1 in Arena. So he doesn't do that much damage with the A2. Definitely not for Clan Boss. Or the A3. If this A3 would have been 100% chance to land defense down on a 3-turn cooldown, imagine how good he would have been for Clan Boss then, huh?
Yeah, he would have been amazing. Like his kit overall, the block buffs is also helpful for the clan boss. If you don't realize that affinity clan
Hmm.
boss will hurt more, so the block buffs is needed. Um, Overall, his damage I would say is much higher than you would think. Just because of that, he also has that smaller chance for the decreased defense. I like that because it's not like you'll have him as a consistent way to apply. You have him there as a backup in the case you want to have a decreased defense, like almost always on, then he's gonna be also helping with that, you know?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, he's better used in unkillable teams, right? That's one thing to keep in
Right.
mind.
Yeah.
He's gonna do a
Attack
better
based.
job in unkillable teams because he's attack based, a bit squishier, but definitely putting in some work. You wanna take us to the next champion, Coldbrew?
Yeah, the next one's the next faction next to that one, and it's the one that I'm using right now in the clan boss competition that we're doing. Me, you, Deadwood, YST, and Hell Hades. So Farrakhan the Fat MVP, I would say in terms of the epics. He almost feels like a legendary with how much he has for one champion. He enables so much in arena, he enables so much in dungeons, he enables so much in clan boss, which is what we're talking about. Defense down, poisons, HP burn, ally attack, crit rate up buff, crit damage up buff, and damage mitigation that he just is 20% tankier basically. It's just what else do you want from an epic champion? I don't know. I don't know what else they could put in there.
He's a beast. Like, he's definitely my most favorite epic champion for clan boss in the entire game. Hands down. I feel
Yeah.
like nobody else does as much as he does. I know, yeah, Manitar is amazing. The meta, they're amazing. They
Yeah.
enable specific things, but who else can compete with this bad boy? Like, everything that he does is just like next level. How do you feel about having him in your clan boss team? You feel like he's up for the task?
Yeah, he's the one that I used. A little bit of a spoiler that I used at the end after I was trying out many different champions. I ended up using Farrakhan instead of replacing him with something else. He was definitely worth it, I would say. He gave a lot of buffs to my team, a lot of support, and yeah, he helped just boost my damage overall. He's definitely worth it, I would say.
100%, especially for a competition like that where team power is important. That A3 increased crit rate, crit
Yeah,
damage, pretty solid. I actually managed to one key Ultra Nightmare in a bad hitter comp with him. I gotta say,
yeah.
was pretty extreme. So I feel like
Hmm.
I had to have very solid gear on my entire team in order to do it. But easy 2 key guys on a double man eater, not a problem. A walk in the park with Farrakhan the Fat. Now I'm going to move over to the next one. But before we do that, just a quick shout out. We have Aina here. We have Suai. Pretty decent champions as damage dealers if you don't have tons of other raw damage dealers for your clan boss team, you know?
Right.
They can do a bit of work. I'm going to jump over to the Ogryn Tribes. Now, yeah, we do have Skull Crusher here, but we're not here to talk about counterattack and unfortunately being the only epic that has that, Occult Brawler. Now, this champion again is a massive beast. I see him in adverts all the time doing serenades and all sort of things to chicks at the balconies. But Occult
Yeah.
Brawler can actually do damage in clan boss. He's not a singer. He's actually a professional damage dealer for clan boss, guys. How you can see right here, you've seen that ad, right? And always seeing
Yeah, I
it in
know.
the ads.
I've seen it. I've seen it. He's been in many different ones, not just the one that's singing. He's there, definitely one of the OG that they designed, and he's definitely worth it to max out, I would say. People don't realize that his damage is not just from the poison. The poisons are just added on top. But if you build him with enough damage that you don't mind so much because he's a little bit squishy, he can die easier than others. He's HP based, but still he is attack based on his attacks. Okay, the attack that he does with the A2 can hit quite hard if you stack the debuffs on himself, and it actually you can see some big numbers with it.
Absolutely, he can actually smack fairly decent. Even with the A1, he doesn't do that bad if you have a decent build on him. And
Right.
the poisons constantly are actually very solid. It's great if you pair him, for example, with either ally attack, either pair him with counter attack champions, or have a lot of counter attack masteries or accessories on him, just for the simple fact that he's landing the poison with the A1. So you want him to hit the boss as many times as possible in order to maximize his damage, you know? Moving over to the
Right.
next champion, Coldbrew. Or you want to add anything else on Occult Brawler?
No, I don't want to add anything else on a Coldbrew. I definitely agree with that. Maybe we could say something about Eurogrew in terms of just straight up poisons, but the damage numbers, the big numbers, the big crits, you will not see it from Eurogrim. So yeah, we can go over. Let me check my list. To Venomage, she. Yeah, Venomage is just a fantastic champion, not just because of the poisons and the activation of poisons, also helps as a utility epic, and that definitely makes it an easier choice to have like the big damage dealer come into play. I definitely like Venomage because of the damage mitigation, which people don't realize that when he applies the heal reduction, you get 15% less damage. It means you survive a little bit longer. If that will mean like 5 more turns of surviving, that is insane. That's a lot more damage coming out of your team. So
Absolutely.
definitely agree with this one.
Yeah, Venomage, she's very solid. She's not gonna smack too hard in terms of numbers, but burning down the poisons and everything, she can actually bring up pretty solid numbers, and she has so much utility all around. Definitely a solid one. Now,
100%. Yeah.
Absolutely, sir. If we're gonna move over to the Skinwalkers, like there is one in here that stands out. If you're gonna compare them with anyone else, Steel Skull, decent support, kind of got power creep. Can't really call him a damage dealer, but we have Fane. Now, Fane, guys, she is amazing for unkillable. Think about her like the budget Dracomorph, the budget Jintoro sort of thing, just with a few poisons in there, Like, she can do so much, and everyone got a free one. I'm surprised she doesn't have more reviews, man, because everybody got a free Fane a few months ago, right? Like literally every player in the game got a free one. So I'm well surprised that I'm well surprised that she doesn't have more reviews. But on the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, not a big deal. She doesn't do that much damage as a raw hitter, no? Why do you think?
No, not so much. Like the counterattack, rally attack, you'll not see so much coming out of her. It's her other 2 skills that hit hard and also have utility behind them that help her, be the one to pick for unkillable comps.
Absolutely. On the A2, we have 2 poisons on a 3-turn cooldown, pretty solid. Then we have defense down and weaken. That's kind of like her main thing. Now, if you run her on an unkillable with Relentless, she rocks. For high defense teams, unfortunately, because when we've seen this champion, right, we were like, oh my god, they're finally giving us a solid epic champion. And then we got the champion in the game, and we've seen the stats, and we've seen the low defense, and it literally just killed our mojo instantly, because she's so squishy.
Yeah, it's like an uncommon in terms of how much defense she has. But yeah, she fits perfectly in the bad eater team. Like I 1-key very easily with her in my own team. Like I do 85 million sometimes with the whole team, and Fane is definitely the MVP for the whole team.
Now, if we're gonna move over to the orcs, right? So Stanless Survivor can do a bit of damage as well on clan boss. She can hit pretty decent. She's not bad at all, actually, for a high defense team. And if we're gonna talk about this Liburga, just like a quick shout, we haven't tested her, right? Because she's not available on any of the accounts. But her kid looks amazing. I feel like this is the best champion that they added to the Doom Tower with all these 6 that they added now. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny because they keep on adding champions to the game, and the epics on the Doom Tower side, they're better than the legendaries, and it's crazy that I would recommend if you want to push and do all the secret rooms, do the epic ones. Make sure you have teams for the epic ones, because the legendary ones, it's okay. There's only 1 or 2 that are great there, but the epics are all of them are almost usable. So yeah, she looks so good. Poisons. Increased defense, increased attack, and then poison sensitivity is just insane, right?
She has a lot in her kid, though. She definitely has a lot. I can't wait to put my hand on her. She looks so damn sick, like design wise. It's like wow, it's like it's crazy design. They're just killing it, man, when they're doing champions. These guys. Moving over to the next champion, Coldbrew. If you wanna walk us through it, please.
Next one up is gonna be Anax. I was looking at Demon Spawn, but none of them really did it for me. But Anax on the Undead Hordes, it's an epic. I mean, there's a better rare, we could call it, right? We talked about it a little bit before the video, but Anax as the epics, which is the video all about, is definitely worth a mention. High damage dealer, decreased defense, decreased accuracy and poisons. The decreased accuracy can come in helpful onto the Hydra clan boss, but for the original clan boss, the OG ones, the poisons work perfectly, and the weekend also helps a ton. So you have the debuffs that you need to actually max out the damage coming out of a champion.
Absolutely. He actually smacks. Like, I thought that Fane was going to do more damage than him, honestly. I was expecting to see that. But then I tried him out, and actually he doesn't. I feel like he does more damage than Fane. He was actually capable to keep up the poison bar full on a relentless set on the Barrier. That was actually very impressive. I was well surprised to see that, because the debuffs from his A2 are on a 3-turn cooldown, you know, so that allows him, when he rotates, the skill being on a 3-turn cooldown as well, to always keep them full. The only problem is when he lands that decreased accuracy, you're losing a slot there, you know.
A little bit of damage, yeah. But I would agree with that, but I haven't personally used him. I use Fane, and I haven't bothered changing her because I just see the big value out of her, and she's just fantastic in what she does.
Yeah, I tried him out as well just to see what sort of damage he has. And by the way, guys, don't you worry, because this week I'm preparing a video for all of you guys comparing some champions that deal damage on paper. We're taking them in the clan boss, and we're gonna see exact numbers from the exact team, exact same gear, to see what's happening with some of them. And I'm gonna move over to the next one. Seeker there actually can smack pretty hard.
Yeah.
If you have good gear, you kind of need to have attack gear and killable teams for Seeker as well. Frozen Banshee was decent.
High attack.
Yeah, he does quite a bit. And moving over to the Dark Elves, I want to talk about a Doom Tower champion here again. Luckily, we actually already have the champion in game. We tested him. We know what he's capable to do. Great for dungeons as well, to melt bosses because of the A1. But we have Dark Kael. So on the A1, attacks one enemy 3 times, instantly activates poisons or poison and an HP burn. Not many champions in the game do that. Like Ninja has that insane skill that deals insane damage. But then we have Venomage that can rack some poisons, and we have Dark Kael then activates poisons and HP burn, which is pretty interesting. AoE attack down, good for non-unkillable teams. And the A3, 3 poisons and a poison sensitivity on a 3-turn cooldown, and the passive sounds pretty interesting when it's decreasing the crit rate. Overall, he's a solid champion. I think when I tried him out, I think I was getting near 25 to 30 million damage on the clan boss team, if I remember it correctly.
Yeah, it totally seems right with him to get so much, just because of all the debuffs that he applies. Like a big potential coming out of the champion when you're using him together with maybe another poisoner. He helps, activate the poisons. If he rounds out, if he's on his own, they might run out. But if there's another one in there with HP burn or the poisons, totally worth it. And again, just do the normal Doom Tower secret rooms instead of the hard Doom Tower. It's worth it.
Yeah, definitely. It feels like the only real solid champion from the Doom Tower as a legendary is Euros the Soul Cage. The rest, I know some of you will be like, well, I can use this one. I know I could use them too if I want to play them. But if you're putting them in terms of utility, comparing them with a lot of epics, they're just not worth the investment. Not worth the books, not worth the master is, when you can actually work on epic champions more accessible. You can get them earlier, and they're gonna just skyrocket your account much better than those legendary champions that we're getting from the Doom Tower. Plus, it takes you like 25 years to get them all, you know? If you want to talk about the next champion, Coldbrew.
Yeah, let's go over to Night Rev, since we're taking all the factions in a row. And Night Rev seems to have so many epics, but it's only one that I would use for clan boss instead of other areas. I wouldn't use her in dungeons compared to others. Let's say Skullcrown, perfect for dungeons if you're looking for something for dungeons 20. But for clan boss specifically, Whisper, very good, very much potential coming out of her hits. Plus the extra turns help a lot if you do manage to have the decreased defense in the weekend. So a lot of potential, plus the buffing of herself. So it allows for different things to be set up with her, and then use her for like a high damage comp.
Yeah, I feel like she can deal pretty solid damage. Again, she's mainly aimed at unkillable teams, guys. So to build her for high defense teams is going to be hard because you need damage, you need survivability. So unfortunately, she's not the best choice there. When you're talking about high defense teams, you might want to pick one of the champions that land poisons or do anything crazy like that, because that's going to be easier to build and will allow you to actually bring in solid damage. Like Sepulture Sentinel right here, she can smack pretty decent with A1. I wouldn't really call her a damage dealer, but definitely worth mentioning that she can smack quite a bit. Now, I want to give a big shout out here to the Demon Spawns, because I kind of moved over and I forgot about her. We have what's her name? Urtikara. She can actually do pretty decent damage. I was well impressed. With the right setup, she can have some damage with the poisons. Not as powerful as the other champions that we name, guys. But if you have her and you don't have any of those ones, definitely worth considering and maybe giving her a try, depending on what sort of teams you can build.
Very, very specific one. Like I did a video on her a long time ago, and I didn't like her because she needs like a very proper setup to make it work.
She does,
and it's only if everything else that you have is just not possible to be placed in the clan boss that you would use Urtikara. That's what I felt by having her. So if you do have her and nothing else, and you know how to set her up properly, then she's worth considering.
Absolutely. Moving over, we're going to the dwarves now. I feel like we've done most of the top ones. So since we started in that order, guys, because when we're doing these guides, okay, to make sure we're not missing champions and to make sure we're accurate, we're usually starting in a faction and writing everyone down and then narrowing the list a bit to make sure we're on point, Who I kind of see like two of them here. Let's see who you're gonna pick.
Well, for the dwarves, I think it's just clear out for the clan boss. I would say Geomancer. The potential out of him is just endless in both killable and unkillable teams. So he has to be the top one in terms of the epics for clan boss damage.
Absolutely. I feel like is no one else better than him as a damage dealer for clan boss. The number one damage dealer for clan boss as an epic. And man, even comparing him with legendaries, like, he's very unique as a champion, right? I know we cannot compare him with a Turvold or anything like that crazy, or a ninja, but his damage, like, I don't know, is literally wrecking compared to other legendary champions. And when they changed the champion, right? Because everyone complained that he got a nerf and stuff like this. I always saw that as a buff, because first, you didn't need the masteries for him to deal that damage anymore, so you already got extra things out of him. I know he lost the heal from the passive, but this change made him a boss slayer all around. Doom Tower bosses like Hydra, man. I'm not doing Hydra without Geomancer. I am not entering Hydra without Geomancer. That's one thing to know. He's part of my teams all around.
He's crazy good everywhere, really. Not just Hydra or the normal clan boss. Doom Tower, dungeons, faction wars. You can put him in any team and he'll find a way to make it work.
Absolutely. So, and I have one more champion left here. I think maybe we went over 10, guys. Apologies. I'm still gonna title it top 10 because that's kind of like what I had in mind, and I can't remember if we actually talked about more than 10. But we have Rugnor Goldglim. He's a bit of a tricky pony because it's harder to tune him because of his skills, right? But I've seen this bad boy, one king with the Bat Eater Ultra Nightmare. Was around 72 million damage. One of my clanmates was running this. And I was like, wow, can this champion actually do that much damage? Like, can you actually get this champion in your team and one key it? Yes, you do need to have decent gear, solid gear to make it, a few toxic sets here and there. But we have defense down, we have weaken from the champion, which is definitely huge. And then he just deals tons of damage with the rest. You have Leech, which will help you to counterattack with masteries. So overall, he can be a solid pick as well if you don't have any of the very top damage dealers that we just talked about,
Yeah. I wonder how your clanmate used them. Probably he disabled the A2 just to make it easier to tune, and then he just went for the A1 and A3s and just getting a lot of damage out of that. That's what I'm thinking right now.
Yeah, I think that's what he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
He must have done that, because if not, he would have been in a bit of a tricky one.
Tricky situation. Yeah.
But that should do it, guys. We have Toragi, we have Fanshi, which they could potentially drop some damage. Toragi is more of a support champion. That's one thing to understand.
Yeah.
It's not really a damage dealer. If I would make a video best support champions, Toragi will definitely be in there. Coldbrew, a pleasure to have you on the channel, guys.
Always, always.
Make sure you head over and subscribe to Coldbrew Gaming. He has tons of awesome content. And hell, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, what are you waiting for?
Yeah, go for it. I mean, what are you waiting for, right?
Click on subscribe, smash that like button, click on the bell and turn on all notifications so you won't miss any of the future videos. Appreciate all of you guys being here, and I'll catch you all soon in the next one.